released a whole list of these savings, and it's everything from saving accruals where there are employees that were budgeted for, but then just simply were not hired, and so we have that as a significant savings. We have other areas of savings that include everything. Do you want to maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to them.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just to speak at a global level, the document is coming out soon if it's not already posted, and I will then just move this over. Basically, what we did was went through the budget very carefully, looked at re-estimates for in the budget, things that were out there. We think that, hey, maybe this could be budgeted a little differently, some of these things. And I just want to emphasize, nothing that we suggested is going to have an impact on employees or services to the people of the city of New York. We're just going to more accurately, we are suggesting a more accurate budgeting of certain things, which will account for some of the savings we got in there. We have many re-estimates that way. And then we have also some, just suggested savings. We think there's underspend in some places, and we, applaud the mayor for identifying underestimating in some of these areas. And we also think that maybe he's underestimating some of his revenues. And we want to make sure that just like small things, small budgetary things like there's already revenue above where his budget is right now. So bring it up to that, and let's recognize that. Things like that. That's what's going on. The document says all.
Yeah, and so the list is in there. I mean, it's everything from the city should recognize an additional $80 million in Department of Building construction permits and late fee re-estimates. It's everything from total wages and salaries budgeted across agencies for what was actually hired. So there's an $860 million in savings that have been accrued through the year as certain positions that were budgeted for in the financial plan have not been filled, so those expenditures have not been made. I want to be clear, we're not calling for the elimination of any of the vacancies, just to recognize the unspent money to date, and we strongly believe those positions should be filled, so I want to mention that. We have in here everything from $42 million in fiscal year 2026 and 2027 in rental revenue from the Port Authority. We believe the city could save $175 million in fiscal year 2026 and 2027 by competitively bidding all DOE contracts, auditing all the agencies' non-essential contracts. For those of you that came to the education hearing, you heard me ask about this. DOE right now, in terms of contracts, is spending about $12 billion of their budget. We had a whole line of questioning around consulting contracts. DOE indicated they have not even audited those consulting contracts. Again, we believe that you've got to audit the agency's non-essential contracts. We need to right-size some of those contracts, and we need to competitively bid them. So those are a few. Again, we have a very long laundry list in the document.
Additional questions? Two questions. I was wondering, as far as the mayor has generally said what he sought to do in this budget is to more accurately reflect the city. I think a lot of people will perhaps hear what you're saying and say, well, we're back to the games of last year. So if you could respond to that potential concern, and then also, I'll just get both my questions and I'll let you off and run with it. You very delicately said Albany should consider more resources to the city. Does New York need to raise taxes to give those additional resources?
So I believe in progressive taxation. I want to be crystal clear of that. I absolutely believe in progressive taxation. I think you don't want a situation where you're pitting states against each other, which is basically what that would do. We believe, though, that Albany needs to look at every single option as they're going forward. I think the good news is we've identified numerous savings here, which we think puts New York City on a very responsible path. And then to answer your first question about sort of the budget dance, I mean, look, I think I've been very public about this. I don't think there really should be a budget dance. I think, when we look at funding around cultural organizations or libraries, and to be clear, our response puts in for the restoration of the funding for both of those should be non-negotiable. I don't see why we need to have a budget dance. I think we can all agree that our libraries, our cultural organizations, and so many of the other priorities should be obviously funded, and you shouldn't have any budget dance around this. I think what we've really done here is identify a number of areas of responsible savings.
Two questions. One for you, Speaker, and then I just have a technical question. So given how large the budget deficit was this year when the mayor came into office, and when you came into office, the uncertainty of the economy with the war that's going on, and the certainty that a lot of these costs are going to keep coming up, the kind of unmet responsibility the city has for retired health care, why didn't